back to Smart Life. Just a reminder for you, you can watch us live in cities all around the country on Biz TV, growing all the time. Now on the air in New York, Philadelphia, and Orlando, Biz TV, it's your biz. And of course, you can view past episodes of Smart Life at moneybizlife.com. Well, the cheeky scientist, Isaiah Hankel, is one of our favorites here at Smart Life, and his latest post at this website is about several ways you can know when you are close to a breakthrough. This is exciting stuff, and of course, he makes a few comparisons to wrestling, as we have come to expect from him. Welcome to Smart Life, Isaiah Hankel.
Thanks, Dr. Gina. Good to be back.
Good to have you. Now, you have to tell us where we're talking to you from, because we never know, because you travel all over the world all the time.
Yeah, I'm in Germany today.
Germany today. Ah, what part of Germany?
Cologne.
Cologne.
West of Germany, yeah.
Yes, very nice. Well, it's good to have you all the way from Germany today. As I always do, I'm prepping for the show yesterday, and I see your post, and I say, oh, I love that. I do. You and I just think so much alike, and I love what you pointed out about how close. First of all, I love the Joyce Meyer quote about we're most likely to completely give up when we're right there at that breaking point. That's very inspirational. But you gave examples from your life about times where you were ready to give up. I think people think that, that people like you who are, living a great life, traveling all over the world, doing really exciting things, inspiring people, being a motivator for people, they probably don't understand the kinds of failures that you've had in your life, but you were very transparent about that. Talk to us a little bit about what motivated this post for you.
Yeah, well, I started thinking back to the times in my life when I was really frustrated, when I really wanted to make something happen, and it felt like I was stuck in the same place for a long time, and it seemed like there was nothing I could do, and I wanted to give up every single day. And then one day, almost like out of the blue, things just kind of fell into place, and there was this significant breakthrough moment. And I thought back to multiple times in my life, and it always kind of followed the same pattern. I would go through these things where I would be really frustrated, or I'd feel like I was not getting anywhere. I'd hear silence, or people would laugh at me. There'd be certain kinds of resistance, and then just one day it would fall into place, and I would have that breakthrough. And so I think a lot of people can relate to that. Just because the struggle might be different, but the way that it happens in that breakthrough moment, it's always preceded by some signs that you can see if you know where to look.
Yeah, and one of the things you say is that people are a lot like rock mechanics. I have to tell you, I had to read this one over twice because I just thought to myself, I can't get this into my head. But you make some great points there. Explain to us how we function a lot like rock mechanics.
Yeah, rock mechanics. I love that phrase. So having a breakthrough, it's kind of like how rocks used to be broken open in the past. I mean, of course, now we have drills and dynamite, and we can blow rocks apart, and we can create tunnels. But a long time ago, they had to use just giant hammers to break apart rocks. And so what people would do when they're doing any kind of excavating is they would just hit a rock, a big boulder, over and over again with a sledgehammer, and nothing would happen. They'd hit it 30, 40, hundreds of times. Nothing would happen. Wouldn't look like you're making any progress, and then all of a sudden, because on the inside the rock's integrity is breaking down, all of a sudden it would split right in half. So it would go from being a rock, completely sturdy, to completely crumbling with that final stroke, whenever it was. But you'd never know when that stroke was going to be or how many it was going to take.
It's fascinating because I remember there was a huge push in the 90s when I was in, really thinking about all this and studying psychology and motivation and all of these things. And there was this huge push for more me time. There was this huge push for relaxation, and you were supposed to do all this yoga, and you were supposed to really find success in your life. It was supposed to be about taking more time for you. But I thought that was really bad advice, despite what experts were saying and what was popular in all the psych journals at the time, because I noticed that when people did a lot for themselves, those were the people that I was seeing coming to me for help. Those are the people that were the most depressed, and what they really needed to do was to get outside themselves and go give more. And I love the point you made here. You said apathy is your enemy, not anger. Anger is more useful than despair. And you make a point, you say, a lot of people will tell you to go do yoga and let go and take more time to nurture yourself. You say that's all fine and good, but staying a little pissed off, excuse the term, this is what you wrote, is what's actually going to get you to your goal. Wow, that was a light bulb moment for me there. Isaiah, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think frustration it can be a good thing, and it's not just in the past, but a lot of people. I mean, it's propagated that you just need to relax and don't worry about it and kind of let go of control, and there's a time and a place for that, sure. But if you want to achieve big things, you're going to have to go all in on it, and it's going to come with some tense moments, and those tense moments can be a good thing. There's a lot of research coming out. And I think it was on the cover of Time or Newsweek last year that a certain level of stress can actually be good for you. It can make you perform better, it can make you happier, and it can even make you live longer.
You say one of the things you need to do if you are going to use these failures and these frustrating moments for your own success is you have to learn how to get excited about, of all things, conflict. Who likes conflict, and how can you teach yourself to like it, Isaiah? And then why is it necessary?
Right. So, I mention this because when things start getting harder, when you face resistance, it's often a sign that you're headed towards a breakthrough. You're headed towards something big. If you weren't headed towards something big or something new or novel, you wouldn't get any resistance from other people or otherwise. So, embracing kind of the pain and the fact that some people are going to come against you, it's going to be hard. You need to do that. That's kind of the first step before you can have a big breakthrough moment in your life.
And so you say don't be afraid of making enemies, that you shouldn't be shy about being bullied. People fighting against you is a sign you're headed in the right direction. In fact, you go so far as to say if you don't have enemies, you're not probably making a difference or advancing toward your ultimate goal.
Yeah, a lot of people today, they talk about haters or those people that stand against you. And some people use it as an excuse. They're like, well, no, people aren't helping me. Why isn't anybody helping me? And really, you shouldn't expect that. And you shouldn't be upset if you have haters. You should be happy that you have haters. You should actually want to have more haters and more people against you because it means you're doing something substantial. You're doing something that's making other people uncomfortable and in a good way. And in the long run, it's going to benefit both you and them.
I love, too, how you said when you want to give up is a point where you might be having a breakthrough moment. You said never wanting to quit is not a sign of strength. Rather, it's a sign that your goals are too small. How do we determine, hey, you know what? I'm happy. I like getting up and doing my job every day. How do you distinguish that from the complacency that you're discussing and saying that if you don't have those moments where you feel like you want to quit, your goals are too small?
Exactly. And if you can find that balance in your life, then you're living the perfect life. I mean, that's kind of what you have to weigh out. You have to be able to be present and enjoy where you are. And you have to even enjoy the frustration, but at the same time be striving for more and be uncomfortable. So you have to be uncomfortable, but be happy being uncomfortable and be happy with that level of uncertainty.
Yeah, and I think, too, you say it's not just one failure, and I think this is important to point out because I think a lot of people think, okay, so Isaiah had a moment you discussed in your post. You had a moment where your professor actually turned his back on you so badly, someone partially responsible, I think, for you getting your PhD ultimately. And if I read this correctly, started getting kind of uber paranoid, really, and changing codes on things for you, like playing with your head. And it was so bad that you really did, for a moment, want to give up, thinking, how can you possibly overcome a hurdle like someone on your own dissertation committee causing these kinds of problems for you? But you say it's not just one failure to have success. To have that success, there have to be multiple failures. The question I want to know, how many is enough? How many times do we have to fail before we can pretty much start expecting we're going to have a success?
Yeah, I think there's a quote from Jim Rohn that answers that, and he simply responds with "until." So that's how many times you just keep going and you keep failing. And the nice thing about failure is you're going to learn something from it, and you are moving further ahead. And the more failures you have towards a particular goal, you'll start to build up more and more frustration, and that's a sign that you're getting close, because it's only a matter of time. It's only until.
Mm-hmm. I like that. You also say that friends, your lab mate, for example, will turn their back on you. That moving forward absolutely means leaving other people behind. So we should expect that people are going to sort of abandon us as we reach closer and closer to that goal, correct?
Absolutely. When you start having a breakthrough moment, or when you move forward and make a big life change, you're going to be extra sensitive, and you're going to think that other people are turning their backs on you, and maybe they are, but you have to remember that in a way you're turning your backs on them too, because you're leaving.
Yeah, and you
so
talk
you have
about
to be able to break ties.
Exactly. You talk about forgiveness there too as being an important part of that journey. I don't want to leave that out, but we are all out of time. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Hankel.